Hello and welcome to today's video. This is going to be my June TBR. Can you believe we're already halfway through the year? And yeah, I'm looking at the books I'm going to read during June. We are going to be picking out the books using my Snakes and Ladders TBR game. This is a game that is very simple. I remade Snakes and Ladders and I play it every month to pick out my TBR. I have an 8-sided die that I roll 6 times and I move my counter around the board and land on these colourful squares. Each square is colour coded to fit to a prompt card. So for instance, if I land on a blue square, I'll pick up the card off the top of the game pile. If I were to land on a purple square, I would pick up the card off the top of the physical pile. And if you want full in-depth instructions, know what every single card possibility could be, know exactly how to play, exactly what any of the shiny squares or any of that means, you can click the link up here and see my January TBR video from this year where I went over all the rules in detail and I actually refreshed the game and show you every single card that I made. So if you want to see all the options and know the rules more in depth, that's there. But it's very simple. It's Snakes and Ladders slightly modified to pick out books. If you don't know how to play, if you've never played it before, don't worry, you don't need to really. You'll pick up on how it's working as soon as we get into it. So yeah, that's the game. And first of all, what I need to do is pick out a reward prompt. So I actually haven't finished all the books this month yet during May, but all of the books that were on my May TBR will be read by the end of May. Well, I shouldn't say will be read. There's one that's a big chunky non-fiction. I'm hoping I'll finish it by the end of the May, but if it takes me to the first week in June, I'm not going to punish myself for that. It's a big chunky non-fiction and I'm actively reading it and really enjoying it. So like, there's going to be no punishment. I'm reading it at whatever pace I can. So yeah, let's pick a reward prompt. Right, okay, first of all we need to pick a prompt from this jar and I'm actually picking a reward prompt this month. So technically I haven't finished all the books yet, but I will 100% finish all but one of my May TBR by the time like May is over. The one that I potentially won't finish was a very chunky non-fiction which I'm actively reading. Like, I'm reading a little bit of each week, and if I don't finish it, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not going to punish myself because I'm taking my time to read a chunky non-fiction. Like, I will finish it at some point, it just might not be right before the end of May, but I've started it already. I'm a good chunk into it and I'm enjoying it, so I will be continuing reading it. But it's non-fiction, it's heavy and you can't just read it all the time, so yeah. But I'm going to pick a reward because whether I finish that in May or the start of June, I'm happy about it. So yeah, let's pick a reward prompt. And obviously if you want to see everything I did end up reading in May, you can check next week's video where I'll be doing my May wrap up in exactly 1 week's time. That'll be out next Saturday. So this is, can swap a prompt for a mood read. Oh, lovely. So I'm going to add that up here. We do still have last month's punishment prompt up here. I got ignore next ladder, which means I still need to do the prompt, but I don't get to minus a roll if I land on a ladder. So I've still got that going because I didn't land on a ladder last month. And then this time we can swap a prompt for a mood read. Okay, lovely. So the reward prompt was that I can swap one of the prompt cards for a mood read, which is honestly really good and really what I needed this month. So yeah, it ends up coming in quite useful to get a couple of books on the TBR. So let's just get straight into rolls. We've got our reward, we can use it whenever we wish. We'll be using it very soon, hint hint. Let's see roll number 1. I'm starting on square 64, which is where I ended last month's game. I've got my 8-sided die and we're just going to do roll 1 of 6. No, roll 1 of 6 is an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is blue. Blue is game, and the game is coordinate pick, shelf, comma, book. Okay, whether I can be asked for this or not, I might swap it out for this. There's a lot of books I don't want to read right now. I'm in a very particular mood at the moment, so I might end up swapping this one out, but that is our first roll for now. So roll number 1, you'll have seen that we landed on a game square, and the game that we got was coordinate pick. Normally I ask someone else or put on Instagram or something like that give me a number between this number and this number, give me a number between this number and this number, and those numbers will correlate to what shelf and what book. However, I am going to be using my reward prompt here. So the book I've decided to pick for the mood read is Days of Blood and Starlight. Now, this is what I'm picking right now. Obviously it's a mood read. If in the middle of the month I go to pick this up and I'm actually not in the mood for it, I can swap this one out. But honestly, I really want to continue on with this series. I read Daughter of Smoke and Bone last year. I thought it was really good and really interesting, and I want to continue on with the series because I don't know how I'm going to like it, to be quite honest. I own the other two books, but book one did one of my most hated tropes. I still really loved it, and obviously I can't tell you the trope because it's a spoiler, but I don't know how it's going to play into the rest of the books. If it doesn't play into them too much, I think it'll be good. If it plays in too much, I think I might not love it. So I picked Days of Blood and Starlight, which is the second book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. Okay, roll number 2 is a 3, so 1, 2, 3 is TBR jar. So for roll 2, we're going to pick a book from the TBR jar. Then roll number 2, we landed on the big silver square at the top, which is TBR jar. This is my TBR jar. At the very end of the year, on the 31st of December, I screenshot every single book on my own TBR on Goodreads and printed them out. There were originally 360-ish books in here. A few of them I picked out at random times during TBR games, reading vlogs, stuff like that. And I have also just decided that, well, I'm going to do this completely like with my eyes shut because I think that works. And I've got a load out just by like practicing that are just books that I've either already read or unhauled this year. So I reckon there's probably still around 280 books in here that I have not read, but there are probably also like 60 books in here that I have read or unhauled. So I am just hoping to get one that I have not read and that isn't too far in a series that makes it really awkward for me to have to read the series. So let's just pick one. Close my eyes. This one seems very folded. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's only one here, so I'll open my eyes. Okay, what is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, I do not want to read that. Okay, it's The Name of the Wind. To be perfectly honest, this is book 1 of a trilogy, and I own book 1 and 2, and I purchased them the year I thought book 3 was going to come out, which was a few years ago, and book 3 still hasn't come out, and because of that I'm not really caring to read it. It's here. So yeah, it's Name of the Wind. I picked it up for £2 from the charity shop because I thought the trilogy was going to be finishing. I don't know how much I care. I have stolen princesses back from sleeping Barrow kings. I burned down the town of Tebon. I've spent the night with the Felurian and left with both my sanity and my life. I was expelled from the university at a younger age than most people are allowed in. I tread paths by moonlight that others fear to speak of during day. I have talked to gods, loved women, and written songs that make the minstrels weep. My name is Kavofi. Probably going to be one that I'm going to need an audiobook for, at least a pronunciation guide, based on how many words I've stumbled over already. It says you may have heard of me. Well, we'll see if we get to it. Honestly, I'm going to give it a go. It's one that's just going to sit on my shelves, unless I'm forced to read it, until book 3 comes out, which honestly I don't know if it ever will. So yeah, we're reading The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and I am honestly not that excited about it. I don't like incomplete series when there like have been loads of delays, because it really just shows me that like we might not be getting it completed. So yeah, I don't know what to say. Let's just go to the next roll. Roll number 3 is a 1, which is blue again, and blue is game, and game is steal from someone else's TBR. Okay, this one's pretty easy. Basically, I will watch some people's May TBRs and steal a book that they're picked. So that's a very nice and easy one. So roll number 3, we got game again, and we got steal from someone else's TBR. And I'm not gonna lie, as soon as I thought about this properly, I knew exactly whose TBR I was doing from. I knew exactly what book. So there's a channel called Observing Emma. I'll have it linked down below. I have the May TBR that I stole this from linked down below. And also have the TBR game. Very fun. In that TBR game last month, well, I'll let you see what came up.
So I think for dystopian, I know exactly what I'm going to pick. Scythe by Neil Shusterman.
And obviously if you saw my book haul video that I made a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that in the first part of the year I hauled Thunderhead and The Toll without any knowledge of when I was going to get book one. And that's something that I promised myself I won't do this year. So pretty much as soon as I'd filmed that book haul video, I was like, this is really stupid. Like, this is the one series that you've like gone against your rules on. So I brought book one, Scythe. I knew I wanted to read it. So when I really thought about this, I was like, yeah, like I want to get to this now. I'm really intrigued by it. I've heard it's really good. I've heard that it gives the like proper old school dystopian vibes that you used to get from like YA back when I was kind of like the age to properly read YA. Like I was reading like The Hunger Games and The Maze Runner and all those types of series when I was like 12, 13, 14. And apparently this will give that vibes, but it's like really, really good. So on the back it says, "Thou shalt kill. What if death was the only thing left to control? In a perfect world, the only way to die is to be gleaned by a professional scythe. When Citra and Rowan are chosen to be apprentice scythes, they know they have no option but to learn the art of killing. However, the terrifying responsibility of choosing their victims is just the start. Corruption is the order of the day, and Citra and Rowan need to stick together to fight it. Then they are told that one of them will have to glean the other." I think it sounds really good. I think it sounds really interesting. I just, from the back, I feel like there's so many different tones that the book could have that I'm so intrigued to read it. Obviously I own the whole series now, I think. there is a short story collection that I don't own, or maybe it's a prequel or something. There's one shorter book that I don't own, but the original, like the main book trilogy, I don't know, obviously if I love it I can just binge read all of it. So we're going with Scythe. I know not a lot about it, but I've only ever heard good things about it, so I'm excited. Roll 4 is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is yellow, which is type, and the type is charity shop. So just a book that I got from a charity shop. This is super easy. I get quite a lot of my books from charity shops. Roll number 4, we got type, eventually a different type of card. That's a really bad joke. But I got charity shop. That was the type that was chosen on the card. And I actually decided what better time than to make some moves on my r/fantasy bingo board this year. So I'm going to be reading Into the Green. I know nothing about this. Nothing at all. But when the r/fantasy bingo board was released this year, I was well aware of one square. Well, there's a few squares that I don't know what I'm doing for, but there was one square in particular where I was just like, I don't read books like this, I don't know what I'm going to do. And that was the Bard square. And if you want to hit hard mode, they have to specifically be called a Bard as well. Like, it can't be like a variation of a Bard. And the day after, or 2 days after, I went to the charity shop. I always have a good mooch in the book section. I always have a good look. And I found this, and on the back, it sounds like our main character is a Bard, or is part of a Bard. Maybe a Bard's a bigger group in this, or he's like an apprentice to the Bard or something. I don't know. I'm not going to read the whole back out. I'm just going to read the one sentence that kind of gives me that vibe. Harping, she knew, was 1/3 of a Bard's spell. Harping and poetry and the road that led. So yeah, our main character on the front, she's got a harp. She knows it's 1/3 of the Bard's spell. It's going to be something to do with Bards, and it'll tick off that Reddit bingo board. I don't know what it's going to be. It was published by Tor a very long time ago. Obviously Tor now, their new releases, I'll trust with anything. I think they're always amazing. But this was published in 1993, so before I was even born. I don't know. I'm excited, I'm intrigued, but it could be great, it could be bad. So we'll just wait and see, but I'm really excited about this. And if it's good, like, I'm pretty sure this author, there were loads of books even in that one charity shop by this author, Charles DeLint. So yeah, we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Roll number 5 is a 2, 1, 2. Game again. This is a very game heavy board. Random emoji generator. Okay, this could really do anything, but okay. Then roll number 5. Another one I don't have too much control over, but I can warp it in a way I want another. And that is another game. And we got random emoji generator. So let's generate our emoji. Okay, I'm on random emoji generator. I'll pick one to randomize. Okay, a clock, or like a clock face, like a wall clock. Okay, BRB. Okay, so I know this is a tiny bit of a stretch, I know, but it's like clocks and dates and time, and the book I've chosen is January 15th. I've wanted to read this for a long time. Haha, another time thing. But yeah, okay, we're gonna stop it with the bad jokes. I don't know what's wrong with me. I normally edit these out, but I feel like I can't this video, like I've made so many of them. So January 15th, the day all Americans receive their annual universal basic income payment. It's just what the very top of it says more. If you'd like to read the back, you can pause it now and give it a read. I'm not gonna read the whole thing out, but essentially this is like a dystopic version of universal basic income, which, like, honestly, where I'm standing, universal basic income sounds great if it was done properly. Why it would be done annually, I have no idea, but I'm not aware of any negatives of universal basic income. However, this is like a dystopian. Well, is it dystopian? It's like near future. I don't know exactly what year it's set in, but yeah, essentially every year, one day, January 15th, all Americans get universal basic income. And that alone just sounds crazy. Like, I don't see how that would work. Once a year you get given a lump sum of money and it's like, just make it last. But it sounds like it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of problems with it. And I don't know, like, the front of it doesn't give a lot away. Like, if you put it to the side, the front of it is just like a person walking down the street. I'm so intrigued by this. I'm so intrigued. When I picked this up some point last year, I gave the first chapter a read and I was like, hooked. And it got to the next chapter and it's a different person, and it looks like, I don't know if any of the names repeat themselves. I'm truly not sure. Oh, okay, so the names do repeat, but it looks like we only get a few chapters from each perspective, and like, it's just, yeah. And I think it's all set on the one day, I think. I don't want to spoil myself, so I don't want to flick too much. Yeah, it's all set on one day. Like, this entire book takes place on one day. I want to give it a go so bad. So yeah, very, very excited about this one. And hopefully our sixth and final roll. I don't think there's any way that we can land on a snake, so this should be our final roll. Is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Game again. Okay, I don't know what that did, but game again. Game. TikTok wreck. Okay. I've never had this one come up before. This is a new one that I added in this year, and I'm a bit nervous about it because I don't use TikTok very often and I quite frequently don't get very good recommendations. So I might do a search for a genre and then get a recommendation from there. So yeah, but that's our final roll, TikTok wreck. Okay, roll number 6, our final roll. Another game. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, we're really getting through them. Hopefully we'll get some different prompts next month. But the game was TikTok wreck. So for this, I literally go on TikTok and look. Let's do it. Let's just do it. I don't feel hopeful about this. I don't feel great about this. I don't really use TikTok. I go on it every so often. Normally when I just want a quick, like, scroll. If I'm in the vibe for a certain type of book, I do find some TikToks helpful if you're on very specific in your search terms. I don't have a problem with what my For You page shows me, but it's basically just cute animals. Like, so I'm going to search and see what we can find. Okay, I'm not going to lie, BookTok's coming up with nothing. I'm probably going to cut all that out. I've watched about 20 and there's no books I own. So I'm going to specifically search BookTok fantasy recs and see what comes up. So let's go for that. Okay, this is actually looking promising. Well, I do own that. Okay, I do own Shift Magic, but I'm not there yet. I want to read that, but I don't own it. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't pause it. I skipped. No, I'm back to the start. Okay, one more. Okay, I've managed to pause it. Okay, so, yeah. So I think these are the American editions, I think. So I think they've got different names. Give me 2 seconds. I've got this. Right, I'm back. So this, I'll put the picture in here, is what we got. And I've done a quick Google. I'm pretty confident that it is this book. So this is The Final Empire, Mistborn Book 1. I think in America, for some reason, like, the title of it is Mistborn rather than The Final Empire. If I'm wrong, let me know, but that's what I could see from a quick Google, so I'm going to go with it. And I own this, and I've been wanting to get into Brandon Sanderson for a while. I've attempted Elantris before, but then everything says don't start with Elantris. Normally I do pick up books by authors by publication order, but I haven't watched the video yet, but apparently not long ago Brandon Sanderson even came out with his own video of like what order to read his books in, and he said don't start with Elantris. So I'm going to start with The Final Empire. We're eventually reading it. I don't know anything about this. I'm going to show you the back. You can pause and read if you would like to know more about the book. However, I'm going to go into this blind. I think that seems really fun. I know that Brandon Sanderson makes these worlds that are very like vivid and you can really see and picture. Obviously like, if your brain can do that, but mine can. I'm really excited about this. I've also heard that characters or like things or theories that show up in one book series can like show up in another, and that like the Brandon Sanderson like universe is a thing. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I don't think I'm going to do anything drastic. Like I don't think I'm going to annotate or highlight it or like even tab it. I think I've heard a lot of good things about the audiobooks for these. I'm probably going to pick up the audiobooks but also read along physically, taking as much as possible. And if I enjoy it, I can reread it and do all the fun tabbing and stuff. But I think I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. Okay, so those are all 6 of the books on the official TBR. I'm excited about most of them, bar one. But it's fine, it's cool. This is the whole point of the TBR, to actually get to the books that I'm buying, and I'm doing pretty well this year. I will probably do some sort of thing at the end of the year that looks about the amount of books I've purchased versus the amount of books I've read, and like whether it can keep going. And obviously I had a goal for this year. I don't know if I'm going to reach that goal, but my goal was to get the TBR below 200, which I know seems insane. When we moved here, there's a lot of good charity shops. I went a bit crazy. If you want to know all about that, I can link some other videos. But yeah, we get in there. We're getting there. I don't know if I'll reach it, but we are getting there. We are making progress, and we are making good progress. So these are 6 more books that we're going to read, hopefully love and enjoy. And if I love and enjoy them, then I get to move them to my red shelves and keep them. And if I don't, then they go. And honestly, I think most of these are part of series, so if I don't love them, it's not just one book going, it's all of them. So let's just see what we think. This is the TBR. At the very start of the next month, I will obviously talk about the books that I read during June, so stay tuned if you want to see that. Subscribe. One more thing to talk about, none of these books fit the buzzword reading challenge prompt for June. The reading challenge prompt is repeating words. I do have a graphic novel that will fit this. So this is Princess Ever After by Kay O'Neill. It's a very short, tiny little graphic novel, so I'm gonna give it a go. A princess thinks she's getting rescued by a prince. He's like, go away, like, I'm independent. And then this prince that she thinks is rescuing is like, I'm no prince, I'm a princess too, and like I can help. And it goes from there. I don't know anything else about it. It might say more on the back, I truly don't know. I heard someone talk about this and purchased it, so that is all I know, but I'm very excited to get to it. This is the same author as the Tea Dragon Society, which are some of the cutest, nicest graphic novels I've ever read. So very excited to get to this one as well, which is technically 7 books on the TBR now, but this is so short. I'll read this in like half an hour, so really no stress with having to add that. And yeah, that is it. That is everything. That is the end of the video. I do really hope that you enjoyed the video. Please do give it a like if you did like it. Subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.